That's good. Oh, and we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Welcome back to Please Don't Live Stream. A regular Please Don't Live Stream. It's been a while, but now we're back. And with us tonight we have Daniel Del Gaiso, as you know from the news edition of Please Don't Live Stream, and we have Christopher, the guy that likes the Marvel movies.
Yep, that's me.
No. And tonight we are we're discussing whether or not it's in vogue to call yourself a film buff or a movie nerd or whatever, and if it is cool, are there certain movies you have to have seen to be able to call yourself a movie nerd? And if so, what are those movies? So that's a general discussion.
Yeah, what Marvel movies are required to be called a film buff? Let's make the discussion hot.
Okay, well, right off the bat, then I personally I don't think there's any Marvel movies you have to see. I don't think so. No, but that's just my opinion in that matter. There are a few ones that are pretty good, but I don't know.
Where do we all stand on the question? Is there movies you need to see to call yourself? Yes or no?
Well,
I would say.
I always feel like, but that's like a obsessive compulsive thing for me, that I have to have seen certain movies in order to be able to discuss them, because I get this feeling there are some movies that will come up in movie discussions, maybe not every time, but in certain movie discussions. So for me, I guess it's more of a like an OCD thing that I have to have seen.
Because that's more of a from a personal perspective that you want to be able to talk about it. But when you put out the question, I was thinking more like that from an observer standpoint, like me telling to you, no, you're not a real nerd because you haven't seen Godfather, for example. That's one of the usual one. I personally, I would say to the question, I would say no. There's no.
There are no movies you have to watch.
But it's not quality, it's quantity. When you've seen enough movies, that's when you can do it. But you can't put a stamp on it. When you've seen 100 movies, you've seen 500 movies. When you've seen enough movies where you can start seeing the workings of how you make a movie, like when you can start seeing like this is that thing and this is used in this movie and this director usually uses these shots and so on, and that comes with quantity, not quality, I would say.
That's a very valid statement. I hadn't thought about that. But I think no. Well, okay, stream's over. We figured it out. Bye. No, that was actually a very valid argument. Because this is I don't know if I said that, at least to the audience, which we don't have one yet. But this is not like a discussion. Like I think this thing, Christopher thinks this thing, and Danny thinks this thing. This is more like a it is a general discussion, because I was pondering about this myself, as I do about movies. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then also there are these movies that you should see, and I personally, there's a lot of these movies you must see that I haven't seen, because I feel I have seen enough movies to know the I've seen the man behind the curtains in the movie, in how a movie is constructed. I know how movies are constructed in those ways, so I don't feel I need to see these movies that you need to see. Like, for example, it was like a year ago, I think, I saw Citizen Kane for the first time ever. I never seen that before, because I felt like, it's an important movie that invented all these important tropes and stuff that's always used in the movies. But I know those tropes. I don't need to see that movie because I know of them now from other movies, and so on. So it's either you see these special movies or you see a lot of movies. It's like one or the other, I would say.
Are you ready to hear me break the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Citizen Kane is from a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5.
Oh, well,
It is
yeah,
it is okay movie, but it is overtly boring.
Yeah, but
I
the
There's
reason.
been better rise and fall stories.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
when that movie came out. That's what you
Nay,
need to
yeah.
see.
But
Yeah, exactly.
I can't put it in that context because that's like saying, well, the Roman Empire was the beginning of every dictatorship, so that's like the best dictatorship ever.
Well, that's how art is.
no.
That's how art is. It's not who made it best. It's who made it first. That's like the
Yeah,
argument
exactly.
for
I
everything.
would.
But looking at it, I don't think it's such a good movie. I don't know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inventing stuff, but
I would agree. The first time I saw it was back in high school. We saw it in film class or whatever we call it. And I had heard that it's the best movie ever. It's on the top of everyone's list. And yeah, I gotta agree. I was kind of bored. But when we discussed it afterwards, I think that's why we watched it. It did, yes, like you said, Christopher, it did invent a lot of mechanisms that we still use in movies today. And for its time, it was very revolutionary in that way. However, yes, time has shown its. It shows that it's an old movie, and there's definitely better movies now. But we have to respect it for what it did back then.
Yeah.
I think the point.
yeah.
It's a little like John Carter. The movie was called, right?
The one when he goes to Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Because that was the same thing. That the books, when the books came out, they were like the first thing that ever done this, whatever. And it invented a new genre and everything. And then
every movie ever is inspired by John Carter of Mars or whatever it's called.
And then they made the movie like, I don't know, 50 years after the books, and then everyone was like, yeah, we've seen this. It's like, yeah, but this invented it. But yeah, but we already.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's boring. It's the same thing with Citizen Kane.
Star Wars was based on this, and Jurassic Park was based on this, and every movie was based on this, and now we're making a movie based on that book. So it's just like every other movie we've already seen.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say Citizen Kane is the same thing. That if you see it now, it's like, yeah, we've seen this. It's not interesting because we've seen this done better. Yeah, but
exactly. But it's a respect your elders kind of situation.
Yeah.
Even if I don't really adhere to that. But
well, to quote the Stone Roses, the past was theirs, but the future is ours. They're out of time. They're out of flipping time, the old people. And I was thinking about a thing that Christopher said about a film buff can be defined by how many movies you've seen.
Yeah.
Which would make basically Roger Ebert the biggest film buff ever.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't argue.
But I would. But at the same time, if I would only see
no, he's dead.
shitty movies, if I would only see really crappy movies, I would be a film buff, wouldn't I? In theory.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, totally.
There's so many definitions, because when I think of film buff, it's someone that respects the so-called film canon. That unfortunately is very focused on movies from what we call the
what do you mean?
WASP world. Like for example, film canon. For example, well, it's time for me to be pretentious here. There's a professor of literature called Edward Bloom. He wrote a book called The Western Canon, which is about what books are standard works or important, definable books written in the history of literature. And he wrote like a huge list. He was obviously highly criticized because it was very Europe and America focused. He's obviously American, so. And there is a movie canon, I suppose. And it has the same problem that Edward Bloom's theories have. It's very focused on European and American movies. And if we talk movies that are not made by non-white directors, they're usually movies from Asia.
Yeah.
I can't honestly come up with a movie made in Africa made by a non-white guy. Because when I think Africa, I think Neil Blomkamp.
I've seen a couple of South African, North African movies, but yeah,
you can't count the gods must be crazy.
No, okay, no, I wasn't actually thinking about that, but no, yeah, it's true. But I think that's because we're seeing this from a Western perspective. We live in the West, therefore we tend to favor Western movies.
It's closer to us, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I think if a couple of guys were having this conversation in Asia or in Africa, they would probably mention like their movies first.
No.
But also you have to.
In a while, I beg to differ because I think the movies made in America have influenced. I think.
Oh, definitely. And I was going to say that Hollywood has such a reach because Hollywood is it's part of America, the like richest country of them all. So of course their movies are going to reach a wider audience, a much wider audience. So of course it's going to influence movies all over the world. And therefore, I think that's why we see it from a Western perspective most of the time.
Even though the Bollywood industry is the biggest movie industry, I can basically mention like 3 movies.
Yeah, and that's because we live in the Western culture. It's easier for us in the Western culture to get a hold of those movies than to get into the.
Yeah.
And also, they are making movies in a different way. I don't remember what the name for it is in English. The structure of a movie. What is it called?
It's very different. But you can you can see that in Asian movies as well. I guess depending on where you come from, the structure is also going to be different.
But if we're gonna talk like a standard canon of movies, for example. I think even though I'm not a huge fan of Citizen Kane, I would include Citizen Kane because it revolutionized the way I make a movie. And then it's such an open field. For example, because I've been looking at all these lists of the best movies ever made, or the word that you use, universally acclaimed movies.
Yeah.
And when I look through the list, there's some movies I wouldn't say are really a part of the movie canon. For example, Shawshank Redemption. Would you say it is an important movie?
No.
It is a good movie. I'm not taking it away.
It's a very good movie. That was a hard one because I didn't see that until 2013, I think. And I was actually like told by a friend with whom I would not consider a movie buff, because we were talking about movies like we always do when I'm around, and he asked me about Shawshank Redemption. I was like, oh, I haven't actually seen that, and he gave me the reaction I usually give other people, like, you haven't seen that? So and it's that kind of reaction that got me to thinking about, are there movies you have to have seen? And when someone that isn't really into movies says, "Oh, you haven't seen that one," that kind of feels like it has reached such a wide audience that it's almost it's one of those that you kind of have seen. But I don't know. You say no, Christopher?
No, there are important movies, and if you're really passionate about movies, you will eventually see these movies. Like, for example, just Shawshank Redemption or Pulp Fiction or The Godfather, Forrest Gump. These critically acclaimed and considered best movies ever. You will see these if you are passionate about movies. That's just how it's going. But I wouldn't. I would say, but like I said before, that when you see the man behind the curtain, when you can deconstruct how a movie is constructed, that's when you're a film buff.
Hey guys, say hi to Morris.
Hello, cat.
Hello. That is a cat.
Yep.
Ya no te comen los huesos, concha tu madre. No, that's not your bones, man.
That's what I would say about. Yeah, it's and that see a lot of movies and you become a film buff, and when you see a lot of movies, you're going to be passionate about it, and then you're going to see these specific movies. But I can't say that.
But
If you can check these 20 movies off your list, you've only seen these specifically 20 movies. Now you're a film buff. Now here's your diploma because you've seen these 20 movies. It's
yeah, that's not how it should work. I think because then it's too easy. Then it's not a lifestyle. Then it's just then it's just a merit badge. I gotta ask though, because that was supposed to be the beginning of the discussion, but we kind of skipped over that.
Movie viewing sounds. You make it sound like getting like achievements in Pokemon Go.
Well, yeah. Well, there should
movies.
There should be achievements for watching movies because I rule at it.
But it's so subjective.
Yeah, it is very subjective. It is very subjective.
For example, what I define as important movies. For example, we may agree that if someone would say an important sci-fi movie, you would put 2001: A Space Odyssey there.
Yes,
I suppose.
Totally.
And if we would talk a Western movie, would we really put a spaghetti Western? I would, personally.
Yes. I consider spaghetti Westerns, or well, at least the Leone movies as like the prime example of a good Western. Even over American movies, even though I know the Western genre is a very American genre.
I have tried so many times see the Western movies by John Ford and Howard Hawks, because those movies are considered the greatest. My movie teachers that I've had have always praised Howard Hawks movies, but they all have one common problem. They all have John Wayne in them, and I can't stand John Wayne. It kills me.
Wait. Do you mean John Ford? Because I don't think
John Ford and Howard Hawks. Howard Hawks made movies with John Wayne.
Yeah.
One of the most famous is Rio Bravo, and the Searchers.
Okay.
The Searchers.
The Searchers is John Ford.
It's a pretty okay movie, actually.
Yeah, I bought that a while back, a couple of years back, because it's one of the best westerns ever, and I would say it's a very typical western. But yeah, speaking of John Ford movies, I would say The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. If you're gonna watch one John Ford movie, that is a really good one. Probably of the few John Ford movies I've seen, that one is my favorite.
As I told you, I have huge problems with John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne he was a fucking douchebag. There was something about his demeanor. I don't know. I did not like it, but I guess that's who he was. But yeah, I was gonna say the thing I wanted to ask in the beginning is to call yourself a film buff or a film nerd. Is that something you should do, or is that kind of douchey to call yourself? Do you use that moniker sometimes about yourself?
I think me personally, I just use it like a joke, more or less. It is true, but I'm not using it like I am a film nerd. It's more like, yeah, I'm a bit of a film nerd, you know. So I'm sorry, but I only talk about movies. Oh, sorry. It's more in that way. I don't think I've ever used it more in, maybe back when I went to high school and I didn't know better. Maybe back then I did like something to be proud about, but not anymore. Now it's just a hobby and a passion. It's not something that I feel the need to, like, I don't know. Why would anybody care, really?
Yeah, it's part that, and it sounds. I don't know. It sounds pretentious somehow. I would probably say like enthusiast is a better way to put it.
I like the word cinephile, actually.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like I put my penis in the holes of my DVDs and fucked them really hard.
Yeah, I do like that one because it sounds a little more
legitimized,
highbrow, if you will. Yeah, exactly. Because I do take movies serious enough that I wouldn't just call myself I wouldn't say I watch movies now and then. I mean, it's the biggest part of my life, at least at this moment.
We live in brief movies.
Yeah, exactly. So there has to be like someone who's very into like soccer or football. It's called football. They don't just call themselves, oh, I'm a sports fan. They're a supporter of a specific team. What do you call that? Well, it's called a supporter in Sweden, but a fan, a Manchester United fan or something. I don't know, but you get what I mean. So there's not that like cinephile is supposed to be a title, but it's, you know, something I used to describe myself.
Yeah, it's a descriptor more than
an honorary.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would like that. I'd like to have a doctorate in movies. I'd call myself Dr. Tobias. That would be nice.
Yeah. Well, that's, I don't know. What did you else have on the agenda for today?
Well,
we're just breezing through these topics, like.
Yeah, I know this one very fast. No, but I wanna.
Yes. Okay, that's the next one.
Yeah, well, that was supposed to be the starter, just to like confirm that nobody actually calls himself a film buff or a film nerd. They say enthusiast or something. That was supposed to kick off the conversation. But about required viewings or movies you have to have seen. Yeah, we're kind of, I think we're kind of agreeing that there aren't really there aren't any movies that you really have to have watched.
No.
But
there are
when you
there are always these movies when you're talking with someone who also is a self-described film buff, and that person say, "Oh, I haven't seen this movie," that you get this shock. Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yet? And that's what I was talking about. That you're gonna get to those movies. It's just that we do it in a different order, all of us.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah,
So,
there's no there's no curriculum. You have to watch this and this and this.
Exactly.
And then that, and then that.
Like I saw Citizen Kane last year, for example.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen Apocalypse Now either. So I'm working on it. One day.
You haven't seen that one?
No,
I get so cranked when you say that you haven't seen Apocalypse.
I still haven't seen it.
That's you know what that is, Christopher? That's a microaggression. I'm very offended. Very
Triggered.
I'm very triggered, yes.
You are not cranked.
That was the next thing I wanted to get to. Even though there's not movies you have to have seen, there are still movies when someone says they haven't seen it, you're gonna react like that.
Example.
So yeah, but so that's like a what you would call, like, not an oxymoron, but you don't have to have seen certain movies, but I'm shocked that you haven't seen these ones. You see, it's a hard line to, like.
Yeah.
You don't really know where to put yourself, but yeah, Apocalypse Now is one of those. It's such a classic. It's so ingrained into like pop culture that it feels like that's one of those you have to have seen. Christopher.
Well, for me personally, it's this, that there are these genres of movies that I know I don't enjoy, and then and then I don't see why I should push myself to see a genre-defining movie of a genre I don't appreciate. It's like war movies generally I don't appreciate it. Westerns too. I don't appreciate the genre. I've seen that other people like it. Yeah, I can see it objectively. It's a good movie, but I'm not having fun. So the only reason I've seen a few genre-defining Western movies is because you have, Tobias, have made me watch them. Now you have to see, like, the Good, Bad, and the Ugly, for example. I've never seen them. You need to see this, and that's the only reason I've actually seen it. So Apocalypse Now is it's a genre-defining movie, or a genre I don't.
If we're gonna confess sins now, I'm gonna confess one of my biggest sins. I've only seen one Akira Kurosawa movie.
Well,
I've only seen Seven Samurai.
Yeah, I think I've only seen one as well.
I think
actually
two. I think in movie school.
I've seen Seven Samurai, but that was a long time ago.
Wow.
I've seen bits of Hidden Fortress, but I've never seen the whole thing.
And I only seen 3 Ingmar Bergman movies. And that, as a Swedish cinephile, is kind of awkward.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually rewatching those soon because there was. I know I've seen a lot of them, most of them, but I don't remember like any of them. I remember scenes here and there, but I don't remember what they are about. Most of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen 2 Ingmar Bergman movies. That's also yeah. Now that you think about it, there are a lot of movies I haven't seen. It's like, oh, you haven't seen that. But yeah, I've seen. I don't know what it's called in English. Smultronstället.
Wild Strawberries.
No.
It's called that?
Yes, it is actually. Look it up.
Oh, okay. Weird.
And it's
okay, Wild Strawberries and Persona.
I only seen Persona, Fanny Alexander, and The Seventh Seal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I haven't seen Christ and Whispers nor Scene from a Marriage. There's considered to be one of his better movies /
I've seen part of
series.
Yeah, I've seen parts of Intermezzo, but that's an old Bergman movie, if I'm not wrong.
But I almost seen every episode of Rederiet.
Well, that is not required viewings.
No.
Yes. No. But I'm so interested in, because when Christopher was talking, if you're not interested in the genre, it's going to be very difficult to immerse yourself in those movies. Western movies, I have huge difficulties with them. There's a few Westerns movies I like. It's all the Man with No Name trilogy, Once Upon a Time in the West, and The Wild Bunch by Sam Peckinpah. They're my personal favorite, and that's movies I would say it would be required viewing. I'm not a fan of Stagecoach. I'm not a fan of High Noon. I forced myself to see them.
Yeah.
Because my movie teachers that are obviously brought up with these movies. Because they went, the cinema was like their only form of entertainment in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it brings huge nostalgic memories. But for me, Western is not a nostalgic memory.
No,
For example,
it is a genre.
Many of our favorite directors, they talk about Westerns like it's the most important genre. Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino always talk very warmly and great about Howard Hawks. And I think that he's an okay director. I like His Girl Friday, but otherwise, I don't get by his movies. But, I'm a pretentious piece of shit as well, so be careful with my thoughts.
Yeah, and I gotta say, when we're talking specifically about Westerns, I'm also not a big fan of Westerns. I mean, and specifically American Westerns, because they have a very specific formula they usually follow. The Searchers is a great example of that. It's almost like a road trip where basically nothing happens in the middle. They're just, going towards their goal, and you can see that in what's it called, The Magnificent Seven. It's part of how the West was won, and I prefer spaghetti westerns because they're definitely more. Oh, we lost Daniel. Well, he'll be back. Yeah. Spaghetti westerns, they have a more they're not as formulaic as American westerns, and they're definitely more cinematic, I would say, or at least the ones I've seen. So when I watch westerns, I don't watch American westerns.
When I say I don't enjoy Western movies, I mean spaghetti western also. I mean all of the Western.
Yeah.
But if you like spaghetti westerns, you should see The Wild Bunch by Sam Peckinpah.
I don't, but Tobias does.
Oh, see, you both should see The Wild Bunch because it's one of the few Western movies.
I've seen it.
I love it because it's a Western movie that it gets itself that the times of cowboys are over because it's during the First World War.
Yeah, it's almost like their
time is up. I think the movie is like a sad farewell letter to the Westerns in a way. And it ends with this magnificent machine gun scene. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and it's almost not. I mean, it is a Western. It definitely has Western movie influences, but I would almost like more just call it a straight up action movie.
Oh yeah,
because it's much more violent. It's much more violent than.
Have you seen Killer Elite by him?
No, I haven't.
I see it. It's pretty cool.
The only other... No. Did he make Straw Dogs?
Oh, yeah. He made the original Straw
But that
Dogs.
was him. Yeah. I've seen that, and I've seen The Wild Bunch. That's the only Peckinpah movies I've seen.
Speaking about Straw Dogs, I'm going to segue myself into a movie company, a distribution company that kind of tries to make a sort of movie canon. Because Straw Dogs, it's probably one of the most sought-after DVDs. The Criterion version is highly expensive. Unopened, you can sell it for $200, $300. And the Criterion Collection, I believe it's probably one of these distribution companies that tries to make kind of a sort canon of great movies. Their collection is awesome. They have like everything, and they really focus on foreign movies. Their version of Bergman movies is like better than what the Swedish distribution company tries to release.
Yeah, but Criterion Collection is so weird because they have a lot of bad movies too.
Oh yeah, can I show the worst movie they have?
Is it gonna be Godzilla? Because I know Godzilla is there.
No. This
American. I think Godzilla, the old one, and Armageddon definitely is one.
Armageddon has the Criterion?
Yeah.
Armageddon and The Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie may be the most fucked up Criterion release.
What is it?
Jellyfish Eyes. It is a movie made by the guy that has designed the cover for the Kanye West album Graduation. This movie is like, it is a fuck up fest, and it's so dissed, and like either I have misunderstood this movie completely and everyone else, or Criterion has seen something in it that I haven't managed to think. But this is one of my worst Criterion buys.
That feels like one of those movies that pretentious people like.
But they also released fun movies like House, the Japanese horror movie that is so fucking great. It is one of my personal favorite horror movies.
But I mean,
I think that's the thing with the.
No, yeah, proceed.
I was going to say the Criterion, that they want to. At the same time, they want to what do you call it? I want to say enhance. That's not the thing I want to say. They want to put a spotlight on the movies that most people consider classics, but also movies that might be a bit pretentious, but that might become future classics. I think that's what they're going for mostly.
Yeah. I was just checking on a list.
It's a classic, my friend. It ain't the classic.
I was just checking a list, and both Armageddon, Godzilla apparently wasn't. I don't know where I got that from, but Armageddon and Chasing Amy is in the Criterion Collection.
Well, Kevin Smith was like the god of indie movies.
Yeah, but
then, so I guess
and he was an Extra Materials fan. He discussed a lot about it in the release of Clerks. That Criterion released.
Yeah.
Speaking about Laserdisc, the Clerks Laserdisc commentary track. Because it was one of the last Laserdisc movies ever released.
Okay.
And it has Jason Mewes saying, "Fuck DVD, it's gonna be the worst fucking format ever." Clerks got released on DVD like a year after through I think it was Miramax that released it.
Yeah, probably.
And Kevin Smith pointed out, you said fuck DVD in like the Criterion edition. Like, no, I was high, man.
but yeah, so there are movies that are like of the time. Like Chasing Amy was when he was at a peak in his career. I guess that's why they put it out there. So sometimes they do these like crowd pleasing releases as well.
Yeah, but if you go, why not put in the what's the other one he made, the really bad one with Ben Affleck?
Jersey Girl.
Jersey Girl, yeah.
But that was his peak. And down.
No.
Well, no, I'm not saying the movie is great, but his career, that's the peak of his career, was just before he made that movie. His career was never that high.
No, yeah, I suppose, but I think they waited.
I'm agreeing with Christopher there, because he had to afterwards he had to become respected again.
Yeah,
he had to direct movies. And then he became the Batman, and he made that new movie based on that Dennis Lehane novel. Where's it called? His latest directed movie.
It's not
Ben
Tusk.
Affleck.
Yoga hosters.
No,
Ben Affleck.
What's it called? Into the Night or Through the Night or something with night. And
I don't remember, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't trust that he ever's gonna top Argo.
Oh, no,
okay,
no.
but we were talking about Kevin Smith.
Yeah, we were talking about Kevin Smith. You just switched who we were talking about. It was very
Of course, because I think it's fun.
Okay, but yeah, Kevin Smith, yeah, definitely. After Jersey Girl, he kind of fell from grace.
Yeah, and then he had to make.
He hasn't made a good movie since. And Clerks 2 is a pretty okay movie.
Clerks 2 is okay. I think Red State is okay.
I haven't seen Clerks 2. I haven't seen Clerks 2 in a while, but I know I really loved it back when I bought it in like 2007.
But is there any Kevin Smith movie that can be put in a must-see movie? Me personally, I would take Chasing Amy, because it was actually one of the first movies that, in a way, talked about same-sex relations.
Yeah, but it also is a very problematic movie when you're talking about that.
Super problematic. It's the 90s. Most 90s movies actually are super problematic if we look through the analytical glasses.
I enjoy the movie.
I still enjoy it.
But I don't think it's a must-see. I would say Clerks is a must-see. That's the only one.
Yeah.
I would say that's a must-see.
I would say, because
maybe it banned for the indie. It was one of the few pinnacle movies of the indie movies, together with Reservoir Dogs and the Greg Araki movies, and of course, Sex, Lies, and Videotape by Steven Soderbergh. Yeah. I would say it would be the indie movies.
Exactly, it falls into the same category as Citizen Kane. That is one of those revolutionary movies. It really showed us what an indie movie could do.
And also, that movie also shows. I know, at least for me, it really shows how much you can do with so little. Like they only really have like a store, and they're only filming at night, and it's interesting in that way. They had nothing and made a really good movie.
He was really inspired by the low budget movie Slacker by Richard Linklater. And I think it's one of my favorite movies from the 90s, and I'm still considering if I'm gonna buy the DVD from Criterion. I don't think they're gonna release it on Blu-ray, but it's out of print. I really want it, because I thought Slacker showed that you don't have to have a plot to make a movie interesting. You just have to have a camera and just find an idea and just try and go forward with it. And that's what I liked with Slacker. It was a life in a boring city in Texas, and these people's lives, and I loved it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. But speaking of
one?
Oh, now you got bias.
But speaking of, just to go back to like indie movies or independent movies that kind of like should be considered, as you said with Clerks, that it showed how much you can do with that little amount of money. A movie that I don't think a lot of people have seen, or maybe some have, but Bad Taste by Peter Jackson, his first proper movie.
Yeah.
That movie cost him like $1,200. I know the rumor was it was $120, but he said it was around $1,000 or $1,200. And that movie has like a lot of effects and a lot of models and a lot of action for that amount of money. So
just sad.
That almost feels like required.
Just sad. It's such a bad movie.
What? Really?
It's an entertaining movie.
No, I'm not. I'm not entertained a second of that. I'm bored out of my mind.
I loved it.
It's interesting. I like how it's made. There's nothing inherently like bad workmanship. It's a good production. But also was Mamma Mia. It was also a good production. It's still a shitty movie.
Okay, yeah, but
I go and shit on Mamma Mia now.
Because
I like that movie.
I read they're gonna release a second one.
Yeah, of course.
Of Mamma Mia or Bad Taste? Because I would
Mia.
either one of them.
Mamma Mia.
But you don't like Bad Taste. I guess that where Clerks is really a movie that more or less anyone can watch and enjoy because it's more not mainstream. That sounds mean, but you know what I mean. Yeah, mainstream. Bad Taste is much more of a.
It is approachable.
Movie. Yeah, exactly. It's approachable. It's about everyday things that people can relate to. Well, while Bad Taste is very niche. So I guess that's why it might not have gotten the same recognition.
Bad Taste have the same problem that Dark Star has. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
I do like Dark Star more than Bad Taste, but both of those movies have the same issue with like bad actors trying to do, I don't know, jokes. They're trying to be funny, but it's not funny because they're so bad at acting. It's just like it's like people going around saying that's the joke, and I don't find that interesting at all. And also I think the plot is kind of weird in Bad Taste.
If you see Peter Jackson movies for the plot, you're crazy.
And then there's
the plot is pretty good in Lord of the Rings, but
it's good because it was a good book.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that the best movie Peter Jackson made is Forgotten Silver. I would say that's the best one he made. Actually.
Forgotten Silver is a smart movie.
It's a really
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I think also why I like Bad Taste is because I'm a fan of like gory or splatter movies. So I guess that's why it appeals to me.
Yeah.
So I would probably say my favorite Peter Jackson movie is probably it's either Bad Taste or it's Brain Dead.
Brain Dead is a fun movie.
Yeah, and that's like I know it is very niche and it is very like for a selective audience or a selected audience, but that is a movie I would like more people to see and enjoy because it feels like people should enjoy it even though they probably won't.
No,
but it's so weird.
Especially if you've seen a super skinny Peter Jackson.
Oh yeah,
that's
that too. I don't know, but like what was I going to say? Let's just say on like some personal picks, some movies that you think not that we're going to write down like a
list,
like a law here. No, but are there some movies that you would say that people should watch? Not that they have to, but that they should watch.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I would agree on that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Wizard of Oz. I think it's still one of the most timeless movies. When I watch it today, it doesn't look like it's made in the 30s.
Well, no,
the colors make the movie look timeless. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna say another musical. I'm a sucker for MGM musicals, but I would count Singing in the Rain because it's a musical, but it's as well a behind-the-scenes movie.
I haven't seen Singing in the Rain.
I'm way too niche about movies about behind the scenes. For example, I'm more of a director guy than a movie guy. So I would say I've seen movies by this director, and obviously I would say Stanley Kubrick, Billy Wilder, Bela Tar. Oh yeah, Awkward Silence. He's a Hungarian director that makes really. He makes really pretentious long movies.
But I've never even heard that name.
Well, if you have a full day that you have nothing to do, you can try and see Satan Tango. That's his most commercial movie, and it's 8 fucking hours, but it's good because it's
Is it though? Is an 8-hour movie good?
Yeah,
is it
Satan
or
Tango makes it good.
or is it fascinating? There's a difference between actually good and fascinating.
No, this movie is actually good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fascinating. That is like the 21st minutes of Valerian. Then Rihanna shit on that movie totally.
yeah. I was gonna do a review of that, but I just nah.
No, you can't give up. You must review it. You must feed on it.
It's so man.
Did you see it again, as you said that you would?
No, I haven't yet, because I'm very reluctant to spend money on it because it was so bad. I don't know. I'll do that in the future, but I
would say lately Billy Wilder has become one of my favorite directors because he made Sunset Boulevard. That is flip, man. I think it's my favorite movie about life in Hollywood.
I haven't seen that one. What? Billy Wilder? What?
The Apartment, last weekend, and Some Like It Hot. One of the funniest movies ever made. That's the one. One of my favorite lines in the world. You know what? It was good. I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect. Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis probably doing one of the best roles in their career.
I've heard a lot of good about that, but I don't think I've seen any Billy Wilder movie. I'm really bad when it comes to older movies like that.
We need to have a Billy Wilder night.
60s and backwards. Yeah. Because I was talking about, I've been doing some videos about my movie collection, and like every movie from the 60s and back earlier than that, I'm like, yeah, I haven't really watched the whole thing because it's boring. There's a lot of movies in my collection that's like that. Because they definitely had another pacing was a very different thing back then, I would say. There weren't a lot of fast-paced movies in the 50s and 60s. And I like fast-paced movies. But like one movie, once again, I guess it's a little more niche, but one movie that I feel that if you like movies, you owe it to yourself to watch it. It's Alien, the first Alien movie.
Oh yeah.
That's the movie that kind of sparked my pondering about this issue. I mentioned this in 2 other videos or 2 other streams we made. That video where Bobby Burns says that he hasn't seen Alien up until now, 2017, and I was just flabbergasted by that, because that is. You both have seen Alien, right?
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you've seen Alien, because it's such a perfect movie. But I would consider it one of very few movies that are perfect. And it's just if you want to understand why some people are so passionate about movies, that's one of those that you have to have seen.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about the movie in really any way, but it's one of those movies that you can put it on anytime and I will watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like but there is no mood where I'm not ready to see Alien.
Exactly. But one thing though, because it is a very it's a very scary movie. It has a lot of gore. Would you say it has the same mass appeal as, I don't know, Clerks, like we said before? Do you think a general audience would appreciate Alien as much as we do?
Well, there's this issue with the what do you say? The people who aren't as passionate about movies as we are.
Plebs.
I wouldn't want to use that word.
No, I'm kidding.
But there's an issue with a lot of people that I've met where they won't give horror movies a chance. They have decided that horror movies are bad because of how horror movies have been since like the 80s.
Yeah.
The end of 80s, beginning of 90s. Somewhere from there until then, all horror movies are slightly the same with the jump scares and the stuff and the things and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a lot of people who have, if they haven't seen Aliens, they wouldn't be able to actually enjoy it because it is a horror movie. they would sit there and, oh no, it's a horror movie, I don't want to watch, and they wouldn't be able to appreciate it as they should because of this.
No.
But Clerks is comedy, and everybody enjoys a comedy. There's nobody who doesn't like comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody loves to laugh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. That's probably a problem. But
wait, hang on. Your audio is
it sounds very strange.
Can you try talking again?
How is it now?
Nope. It's like it's
like auto-tuned Kanye
like a robot?
Yeah, a robot. You sound like a robot.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, this issue pops up from time to time. Let me I don't know.
No, it's the same. Should we take a break or something? Or I don't know how you fix these things usually.
I'm not sure either. I haven't had this problem before. I wonder if it's just I don't have to do this.
Now there's no.
I can't hear him at all.
Nope. You turned it off.
We can't hear you.
No, I think he disconnected or muted the microphone. It's the symbol set at least. I don't know. Oh,
now.
No. Yeah, now it's good.
How does it sound?
Oh,
okay, good. And
we
did the old
about Alien, and suddenly audio errors like in the Alien movies happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that seems to be a common problem when you stream through Google Hangouts, but I've never had that problem before, so I was a little
so
anyway.
That's the only reason I would say that people wouldn't enjoy Alien, because they would be on the edge all the way through, and in the bad way, not the good way that you should be.
Yeah, exactly. But I like, for someone that has seen it, I would say that it definitely transcends just being a horror movie. And that's
totally.
Yeah, and that's why it is a classic.
Yeah.
But then it feels like you have to explain that before showing it to someone, and the question is then are they going to be able to appreciate it, even if you say no, it's not a horror movie like that. It's actually a very well crafted movie all throughout, and blah blah blah.
I don't think so. I have tried with several friends and acquaintances to say, oh, you really need to see these movies, but no, not specifically Alien, but other movies. So it's a horror movie, but it's not one of those. There's no jump scares. I promise. There's no jump scares. It's just like a mystery movie, more like. And they're like, no, it says horror on the back. I don't know. But, oh, come on, just take it. And then they take the movie.
Yeah.
See each other 2 weeks later. Have you seen it? No, you can have it back. Oh, come on.
God damn it!
Yeah. And I think that's one of the issues with Alien. I would say that it has that stamp of horror. So that's
they should invent a new genre, like call it classic or a I don't know.
The genre perfect. Classic.
The perfect movie collection.
Yeah. As I was thinking, one movie that I think everybody should see, not really because it's like genre defining or anything like special in the bigger sense, but I think it's a movie that everybody would enjoy. I never met anyone who didn't like the movie, and it's really interestingly made. That's Stranger Than Fiction, I would say.
Huh. I own that one, but I haven't seen it.
What?
It's good.
Yeah.
I know, I haven't seen it. God damn it.
No, it's one of those movies. As I said, I've never met someone who didn't like the movie, and it's on a technical aspect, it's really interestingly made. It's an interesting story, interestingly told, and it's a good movie. So that's one of my movies that if people ask me, I want to see a movie, I almost always say Stranger Than Fiction.
You know what movie I always recommend to people? Well, except 2001, because I'm a pretentious fuckhead.
That movie you said before, that's 8 hours long?
No, not Set on Tango. Even though it's a really good movie. Magnolia by Paul Thomas Anderson, I think it is great in so many aspects. I still think it's his best movie, but it's not his best directed movie. That still goes to There Will Be Blood.
Magnolia. It has that. Once again, that like broad. For some reason, it has a very broad appeal. A lot of people that you don't think would like movies like that one, even though it is kind of weird and somewhat pretentious.
But it's not that weird, actually. It's like it's told in a really straightforward manner, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. I think it's much more approachable because of that.
Yeah. The only thing that's like really weird about it. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Magnolia, that's the frog thing. That's the only thing that's actually weird in the movie.
Honestly, I can't even remember. Why does it start raining frogs? I don't remember.
Nobody explains that. It just happens. That's
that's why I don't remember it.
It just happens, and nobody talks about it before or after. It just happens.
Okay, but talking about that one, because I would probably say I wouldn't say that it's required viewing, but it is definitely a very good movie, and people should watch it if they like movies.
Yeah.
But then, just thinking about it right now, that movie is very influenced by a movie called Shortcuts by Robert Altman. And the question then, should they watch Shortcut before or after Magnolia?
Shortcuts now again?
Shortcuts is, it's a movie about a bunch of people in California, I think, during a day. It ends.
Okay.
It has Tom Waits. It has a little kid being hit by a car.
Yeah, I know of it. I haven't seen it. I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole movie.
Okay.
So I was thinking about the other one with Paul Giamatti. What's that called? When they're drinking wine?
Sideways.
Oh,
Sideways.
Yeah.
I always confuse those. I always confuse those two movies because of the name, only the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, because Magnolia, I don't know. Yeah, it feels very, very influenced by Shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, I don't know really what my question was, but I think I prefer Shortcuts. So my question was then, should people watch Shortcuts or Magnolia? In which order should they watch them? I don't know. What do you think, Daniel? I think you've seen both.
Yeah, I think Magnolia first. Because I think that's easier. From what the little I've seen from Shortcuts, Magnolia seems easier to ingest.
And it's shorter. It's definitely shorter.
Yeah, and if you like that, then you can go to the other movie.
I love the voiceover in it. It has such a good beginning because it grasps you by the first frame. Magnolia.
How does it start?
It starts with 3 short stories about coincidence.
Oh yeah.
Ricky Jay does the voiceover and he says, "This thing cannot be. This cannot be one of these things." And it's the opinion of the humble narrator that this is just a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then, boom, it goes into the central part of the movie, which is all these interconnected stories. And Tom Cruise does his best role ever. Up there with his role in Tropic Thunder.
Wow.
I love Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Fantastic, because it showed that Tom Cruise is funny as hell.
Yeah. Just quickly about that. I didn't even know that was Tom Cruise. until the credits rolled and it said Tom Cruise. And I was like, what? Where was Tom Cruise in this? I think it wasn't until I actually bought the Blu-ray and watched the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah. And people say Tom Cruise hasn't ranged, or he's like very one note. But that movie proves that he can act. Okay.
Yeah,
he's not even himself in that one.
He can act. He just chooses not to in 90% of the movies he makes.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to. He just have to be very charming.
Yeah, and that doesn't make him great. That doesn't make him a great actor.
Okay. Quick sidetrack here.
It's like saying this is the greatest chef in the world, but he only cooks noodles. He's like, yeah, then he's not the greatest chef in the world. God damn it.
Okay, but I would consider him a good actor. Not the greatest or anything, but a really good actor.
Yeah,
I do enjoy him in most movies he's in.
I think we talked about this last time I was here, but I still think he's like.
We did, yeah.
I think he's a mediocre actor. He's fine. I don't hate him, but he's never a draw to see a movie. It's like, oh, Tom Cruise in this? No. Like, oh, and Tom Cruise is there too, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
for me, it feels like he
because he only takes the same roles, and he done this in like the last 20 years. It's like you can replace him with any other mediocre actor out there, and there wouldn't be a difference. Except they won't need to buy as many boxes for him to stand on. That's the only.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the way he has not made movies, but the way he has like produced and starred in movies, it feels like the movies usually hinge on him, though. Wouldn't you say? Like, say, Mission Impossible without Tom Cruise, would that work? Do you think that would work with another actor?
Well, not after the second one, but if they made Mission Impossible 2 with another actor than Tom Cruise, yeah, it will work.
Yeah, maybe.
There is more that after this second one, then there's more like this. It's not that we need Tom Cruise. It's more like it's weird when you change actor, like playing the same role and they change the actor. That's weird. There's not a lot of series that can do that. And the only ones are like James Bond is like the only one I know.
Yeah, because it's a thing there.
Yeah.
But I've always considered like movies that that Tom Cruise are in are like they're like in their own genre. They're in the Tom Cruise genre. Because when you think of Tom Cruise movies, the first thing you think about is Tom Cruise. Top Gun, it's Tom Cruise. I don't know, fucking Cocktail, it's Tom Cruise. Risky Business, it's Tom Cruise. I don't know, he has that thing, that charm.
No, I would say he can act, and he has made a few movies that where he actually shows it off. And Tropic Thunder one, I would say Risky Business is another one. Also Magnolia. That's a really great acting in those 3 movies. But the last 10, 15 years, 20 years maybe, all movies he made is like, I'm an action hero and I punch stuff. And
I will agree.
I have a gun.
Yeah, I agree with that. This definitely, it feels like his star is waning a bit, especially now that he made The Mummy, because that did not feel like a Tom Cruise vehicle. It wasn't a movie where he was the star. Oh, it was so bad.
Didn't you see his review?
I say, yeah, I'm just seeing my review. God damn it! No, it's probably one of the worst. No, it is one of the worst movies of this year. It's not the worst, but it is one of the worst this year. It's terrible, and it really feels like I said, he often chooses movies where his performance and his like face is front and center, but in The Mummy he was like, he was like secondary to the action and to the mummy and the effects and all that. And it was really weird because he hasn't. I can't remember a movie where he like chose not to be front and center, unlike
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, but that felt more like
cameo.
Yeah, like a cameo, even though he's in a lot of it. But it felt like a cameo, he did it for fun. But like Interview with a Vampire, that's where he's not. He's a side character in that one.
Yeah,
and he like disappears for like the second half. But that was in 1993, and since then he's always been. This is my fucking movie, people.
Back to the original question. I was checking through what movies. And I think one required for everyone to see, I think, is the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's required. I think that's required viewing, I would say.
That's good, because that's actually a movie I like.
And actually see.
Yeah, and actually see, yeah. Yeah. I get the feeling a lot of movies I think people should see are movies like, no, you don't actually have to. But that one, it's my favorite Wes Anderson movie. One of my favorites.
I don't know if it's my favorite. It's really hard to choose a favorite between these movies.
Yeah.
Because
technically I haven't seen all of them, but
I really like all of them except maybe Fantastic Mr. Fox, maybe, and Moonrise Kingdom had some weird vibes.
I really liked Moonrise
Yeah,
Kingdom.
it's a nice movie, but it has some weird vibes when they're like I'm always weird when there's like a romantic subplot between children. It's always like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it gets kind of weird. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to watch 8-year-olds kiss.
Yeah, it's like what? No, and that's no. But like Grand Budapest Hotel, masterpiece.
I haven't seen that one.
What? That's a masterpiece. Also,
I know, and I bought it like 2 years ago, and I
Wait
still
a minute, I
haven't
gotta
watched
go and hide chicken bones, otherwise my cat is gonna eat them.
okay.
Okay.
And also like Darjeeling Limited, also great movie.
I haven't seen that as well.
What?
There's
Life
those
Aquatic.
two.
You've seen Life Aquatic?
I've seen Life Aquatic, and that
Yeah.
is not. I mean, I like it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a weird movie because I think that's like his weakest movie. I think.
I think so. Yeah,
But
it's
most-
very.
But there's so many people who are talking about that's their favorite, and that's like the favorite movie ever. Not for Wes Anderson, ever. I met so many people who're like, this is the best movie in the world.
That's strange because it's definitely one of his weaker movies.
Yeah.
Because it feels wrong to say this, but it's like it relies too much on like special effects and stuff. It's more of an effect movie if you can even call it that. But you know what I mean?
It's like the movie is about showing the marvel of the sea, sort of, and you do that with effects. So
and the characters are kind of secondary to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they're not. I mean, it's not like first you watch Transformers and then you watch Life Aquatic. It's not that, but
No.
for a movie of that caliber,
for being
it feels very reliant. Yeah, for being a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, Wes.
But I would say that Royal Tenenbaums is the required viewing of all his movies. I wouldn't say it's his best movie. I think I don't know, but I don't think. But it's the most approachable of his movies. And it really opens the door for the rest of his movie. If you like this one, I have something for you.
It feels like it's the first of his movies that really, really like cemented his style of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Doing all the static shots, all the all the symmetry and all that. Before that, his movies were more like normal movies. If you think Rushmore and Bottle Rocket, they're more normal, if you want to call it that. That's like the quintessential.
Wait, you've seen Bottle Rocket, but you haven't seen Grand Budapest Hotel?
I know, but that's actually a funny story. I saw Bottle Rocket and Rushmore before I even knew who Wes Anderson was. They were on TV.
Oh.
And I watched. The first one I watched was Rushmore. I can vividly remember how and why I watched it. It was after what we call in Sverige kräftskiva, and a crawfish. I don't know.
Crayfish.
Crayfish party.
Yeah.
And everyone was out on the back porch. It was getting kind of late, and I was like 12 or something. 12, 13, and I was like, I'm gonna go inside, and I just turned on the TV, and it was this weird movie about this like pretentious asshole in school, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and I was like mesmerized, and then I realized, that's Wes Anderson. Bottle Rocket and the rest of it. But I haven't seen Darjeeling, and I haven't seen Grand Budapest.
But when we're talking about like all of us, when talking about the required viewing movies, none of us has talked about the actual movies that everyone is talking about, like Godfather.
No, but when I
Fight Club,
about movies like
The Shining,
Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Which one?
Which one? Fight Club?
Oh, really? That movie is destroyed by all the fucking alt-right idiots.
Yeah, but come on, stop.
You can't judge a movie on the audience.
And I love David Fincher, and you know me.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see that movie till in 10 more years when alt-right is a parenthesis in history. I'm going to watch it again. But right now, it's so destroyed because it's so misunderstood as well. It's easily one of the most misunderstood movies because there are kids in my school. They think Fight Club is about, whoa, yeah, get into fights and whoa, getting angry, fuck society.
Yeah.
It totally misunderstood
That's always been
the
a problem,
message.
But
And I think David Fincher actually said in an interview that he finds the movie today very problematic.
Yeah, it's just a problematic movie, but it's still a really, really good movie. And just because people misinterpret it doesn't take away from how good the movie is, I say.
It's sad. I think that movie has been revisionist. It's revisionist back. It's been taken by wrong people.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's
it's like when fucking hockey nerds that always made fun of the Swedish band Kent always start singing at drunk parties the text to Töntarna by Kent, like when I wasn't invited at the parties. And I thought, there's a fucking ironic text to sing by fucking hockey motherfuckers. There's one Fincher movie that I would say it's, for me, defined as a must-see, and it's Seven. Because it changed the game for the serial killer genre.
Yeah.
Because when Silence of the Lambs came, everybody wanted to make a flippin' movie about serial killers. But when Seven came, it put the style that everybody wanted to copy, and almost everybody copied it bad.
True.
Yeah, they tried and failed. But back to the thing you said about like the
movies
everybody.
Yeah, and what of those movies would you say isn't required viewing that everybody says is?
Well, first of all, I think why we haven't discussed those is because
for
us,
the
there's fuck off. Sorry.
The first Back to the Future, for fucking reals, man.
No, I just really like the knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Get out of that. Hate on it.
For fuck's sake!
As soon as the words hit your ear, it wasn't even a thought. It was just like, fuck you.
No.
I think that was a definable 80s movie. I think it was a part of the 80s. That is a movie that is so typical an 80s movie. That one and maybe Fast Times at Richmond High.
Yeah, more of that one. But yeah,
I would say
I think that was the fastest reaction I've ever had to anything. Because that is that is in my top 5.
One movie I would say that everybody's talking about that I don't agree on. It's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's still a good movie, but it's not required viewing. Well, obviously, because I don't like Forrest Gump. But I would say Breakfast Club is not required viewing. Still a good movie, but it's not required.
It's better John Hughes movies.
Well, it's
exactly.
High school movies.
No, wait, what? Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Breakfast at Tiffany's. Okay.
No.
That is Blake fucking Edwards, man.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to watch Breakfast Club, I suppose, but I really, really love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I think you shouldn't watch any John Hughes movie except Home Alone that he produced. Because the problem with John Hughes movies, it has horrible fucking characters looking at it today.
Oh yeah, it's all just like stereotypes.
16 Candles and Pretty Pink, I can't watch them anymore because they're not promoting rape. That would be a horrible fucking stupid thing to say. But the characters are so horrible.
Yeah.
They think it's totally okay to, hey, this girl is drunk, maybe I should go for it. And I thought, Ken.
Yeah.
I think John Hughes is one of the most overrated directors.
I agree. He's extremely overrated. I still like some of his movies, but he's overrated. I wouldn't say my career as a film nerd would have been worse if I've never heard of him. I don't think that would change anything, really.
No, of course not.
No, and I only think like for me, I think John Hughes directed movies. There's like 2 that I feel are like.
Please say
movies
Weird
that define him.
Please say Weird Science because it's so stupid and it's funny.
Yeah.
No, not Weird. No, Weird Science. No, Weird Science is more like a dime a dozen movie. When it comes to his movies that define him as a director, and why he is so loved, I would say is Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
No.
And those
I
movies.
think Ferris Bueller's Day Off is good if you watch it as the theory that Ferris Bueller doesn't exist. It's a figment of Cameron's imagination. Then the movie becomes a masterpiece for real.
Yeah. I would not call it like, it really reflects how teenagers are today or back in the 80s. It's more of like a fantasy movie almost.
But it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's probably the only role where I like Matthew Broderick. Otherwise, he rubs me the wrong way. Probably because he killed a guy after that movie, but that's another story.
Well, that was
what?
Wasn't that an accident? It wasn't murder. It was manslaughter.
But he killed a guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've killed a guy. You don't. I'm not kidding.
I technically killed a guy too, but that's another story. It's a Mormon mission story. Somebody's gonna sue me to the police or some shit like that.
Yeah, and Forrest Gump, not required viewing, I would say.
Okay.
There's better Robert Zemeckis movies like Back to the Future. I take that back.
How many? Okay, what? Really?
I take that back. Forrest Gump is required viewing. I still hate the movie, but it's required viewing.
No, it stole the Oscar from fucking Pulp Fiction. Sorry,
nobody cares about the Oscars.
I kind of do, which is a very horrible thing for me to like. Because the Palme d'Or is more interesting. Because they gave Oscar to a movie I haven't seen. You heard of Apocalypse Now, I suppose.
Well, I don't really care about the awards. I care about if the movie is good and nobody not what the would say.
Yeah, the Oscars is it could be a good like what do you call like a good like water diviner, like, oh well, these movies were nominated, maybe some of them are good. You can definitely find good movies through the Oscars, but
we talked about
the actual awards are a bit.
Didn't I talk with you, Tobias, about a year when the Oscar nominations were all pretty bad movies that nobody watches? I think it's 82 or 83.
It was 80. Yeah, it was sometime in like the mid 80s.
It's like, ugh, like none of those 5 movies is neither a movie that would be part of a movie canon or part of a must-see list.
Yeah,
of course the Oscars have made, but I'm a sucker for that golden statue, even though Stanley Kubrick never got one.
Well, that's one of my biggest issues with the Oscar. It's like this weird. People get this weird. Film enthusiasts get this weird thing that like, I hate this movie. Why? Because this movie should have won instead of that movie. Well, that movie, like this, when we said, I don't even remember what we said. Forrest Gump. Yeah. I hate Forrest Gump. Why? Because it took the Oscar from Pulp Fiction. Yeah, but so? Can you just look at the movie for what it is? Or do you need to, like,
a very generic drama movie?
Yeah, I stated I hate it too. But I think that it stole an Oscar is a bad argument.
Morris Bot.
But yeah, I don't like it. But it's required viewing because it's an important movie in film history. And it has interesting things. You should see it, but you don't need to like it. But you should see it.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to like any movie, really. Man.
No, some movies you have to like Back to the Future.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
why? Oh.
Well,
Back to the Future, I do not know why it exists.
It's a fun movie.
I've never heard anyone. Well, it's the same with Forrest Gump. I've never heard anyone not like it except for you, Christopher. And I've never heard anyone not like Back to the Future except for you now, Daniel. It's like, what? Oh.
No, I said I liked Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. What?
I didn't say not like. I think it's one of the best 80s movies.
Oh, okay. I guess I reacted a little too fast because it sounded like you hated it.
But the second one is the better one. For me, personally.
I'm very torn. I used to think the second one was better. I'm not sure anymore.
Right, good boy.
Go.
Yeah. Got so angry he has to leave.
He likes Back to the Future. That's good. Okay. It just sounded like he didn't.
I still don't like Forrest Gump though. I still don't like Forrest Gump. Or
because
Shawshank. I don't like that movie either.
What's going on?
Nej, inte boken. Inte boken.
Wait, I see. Can I? Until he comes back, I'll mute him.
Yeah, good.
But what? Okay. Shawshank is a little harder to define, maybe. But what is it you don't like about Forrest Gump?
Oh, I just don't think that any character is likable. I don't relate to anybody. I don't care about anybody. I don't. For me, we talked about this last time too. I think for me to like a movie, I need to relate to someone, or at least care if it goes good for them. But I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like Forrest Gump is he's. Have you seen that Dave Chappelle thing when he talks about Forrest Gump? I think it's when he's on Letterman or something. I
don't think so.
He talks about this like, I try to do things in my life, and this guy just get it for free, and he doesn't even understand it. It's like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like this. He doesn't do anything because he's a good person. It just happens. He happens to be at this place. He just happens to do this thing. It's nothing because he actually made a decision to do a good thing. I think the only thing he does good in the whole movie is when he's in the war. I think the only thing when he's like, I need to help. All other places, he just happens to be there. And it's like, so why should I care? And then we have like the love interest who is like this horrible, horrible person. And
yeah, she's pretty terrible when you think about it.
It's like, I don't care. I don't care if anybody dies. If you killed everyone in that movie, I was like, okay, I wouldn't care. And that's why I don't like the movie.
Okay. Well, I
Shawshank is just
always
an average movie. I don't see why it's so. It's like, it's okay. It's like, yeah, it's average, but I would rather see a good movie than an average movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not sure how to. I've only seen Shawshank once, and it was a while ago. I gotta.
Yeah, it's Shawshank is a really good movie if you haven't seen a lot of movies. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it has so good reputation, because people who see it and haven't seen a lot of other movies, they're like, "Oh, this is a great movie, 10 out of 10." But your 10 isn't worth as much because you haven't seen as many movies. It's like,
I gotta. Danielle, can you hear us?
Yeah, you can. I think.
Yeah. I muted you before when you left. But I can't seem to unmute you. Can you hit the button up there? Because I'm not.
What about now?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, because I muted you when you talked to your cat because there was a lot of background noise.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Because
my cat is an asshole that tries to just destroy my movie collection. I don't like it to climb on the bookshelves, and I hate to use water spreader on him, but it has to be done.
Yeah.
By the way, when we're all here, I'm just. I think I need to go soon, like 5 minutes or something.
Okay.
If there isn't something special that you.
No, I mean,
talk about?
no. We're just having a general discussion now. There's. Okay. I mean, I think we can. I think we can like certainly say that there isn't really a movie that like everyone has to see. There isn't a specific list that you have to check off, right?
No.
Because it would be so different if we all of us would write a list. It would be so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there isn't one definitive list.
Yeah, and still, even if you've seen all these movies, if you say that we all made a list of 20 movies each, and there's only unique movies, so it's 60 movies.
Yeah, there's 60 unique movies.
If you took a person who have never seen a movie in his life and you see these 60 movies, that doesn't mean that person cares about movies or know anything about movies.
No, exactly.
That's the important part, that you have seen enough to know and you actually care.
Yeah. And then there are, of course, movies that if you enjoy movies, there are definitely some movies that you're probably going to enjoy, because they have like universal appeal, or they've been universally accepted as great movies. Definitely.
So the list comes after the quantity. When you become an enthusiast, that's when we put up the list.
Yeah, and I gotta say about that, about watching a lot of movies, that if you're passionate about watching movies, you might there are probably people that have watched like thousands of movies, but they're all Scary Movie 1 through 10. I don't know how many made, and like those kinds of movies, and maybe I wouldn't call that person a movie buff, but someone who has watched a lot of movies, but then is like seeking out more quality movies because they like movies, but they want to find something better, and then maybe they get to like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now and all that. That is someone I would like call a movie buff or a cinephile. Yeah, because that would make more sense, I would say. So I guess that's the general consensus.
Yeah, that seems yeah. I had nothing to add. I thought I had something, but I didn't have anything to add. It's just Yep.
Exactly. So but that's what that was what I was thinking about. Now I think my mind has settled.
That's good.
I can relax now.
It's good to have these streams for you have I have a question. Let's create a stream about it. Now I have the answer to that question. Bye.
No. Well, then we could.
The next topic of the stream will be like how much spaghetti is too much spaghetti. I've been wondering this for a while.
Yeah, and I have my hot plate here, and it's like, it's okay. Thanks, bye, and I start making it. No, but then we would have.
Martin, you said it's so good. I wonder if we're still gonna roll on.
I could go on for a while. If you want to.
I have some more on, so I could definitely go on.
We take we change off. We trade places. I hop off and Martin hop on.
Yeah, Martin is invited if he wants to. He has the link. So, but are you gonna jump ship then?
Yeah, I'm going. So.
Well, yeah, okay. We'll see you next time, maybe.
Maybe. All right.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe. Bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
I'm just gonna fix a thing.
Okay. Oh, and Martin, if you're still watching, like I said, you're more than welcome to jump in. Because I think we're at least gonna go on for another half an hour. I mean, it feels like this conversation could go on for hours, but at some time we're gonna have to quit. But I would say at least another half an hour. So just jump on. Because Daniel left his chair, so I can't really talk to anyone. But yeah, Forrest Gump. I was going to say that before about Forrest Gump. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
And I think Martin is here. Hello, Martin. Martin. Can you hear us, Martin? Martin. Okay. But we were talking about while you were fighting with your cat, we were talking about Forrest Gump. What do you think of Forrest Gump? What is your like general consensus about that movie?
What, mine?
Yeah, you.
It's an okay movie, but
really? I love it. I don't know. I mean, I saw it when I was a kid. I guess it's partly nostalgia for me, maybe. But yeah, Christopher was saying why he doesn't like it is because he doesn't find the characters likable, any of the characters, and he can't really he can't sympathize with the characters, and I can understand that there's a lot of like bad. I mean, his girlfriend for one, Jenny. She's if you really think about it, she's a terrible person. And I guess the same with what is his name?
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan, yeah, Lieutenant Dan. He's kind of an asshole, and I guess those are like the two biggest characters in the movie, except for Forrest Gump. And
hello.
Hello, now we can hear you.
Oh, great. Sorry, my microphone was acting up.
Okay, no, that's fine. So yeah, just quickly to get you into the conversation, is there any movie you would consider like a must-see? That people that like movies, they have to see this one. Just off the top of your head.
It's kind of an elitist question, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And that's why we're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple, I think. Forrest Gump being one.
Okay. Yeah.
The first Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. We were
Jaws.
talking about that before. Oh yeah,
I would
Jaws.
choose that too.
And
Jaws.
Schindler's List feels like one of those movies you have to see. Even if you're not a film buff, you have to see that movie because it's a very important movie.
Yeah, and it has that general appeal. I think everyone can like that movie.
Yeah,
except for Nazis, but
yeah, it didn't help them.
Yeah. What is this, sci-fi? What the fuck?
And the person, look at.
Is this an alternate history movie? I don't get it. My favorite fantasy movies are Lord of the Rings and Schindler's List. I just like how the world building in that one.
You're fucking horrible people.
I'm kidding. People who say, just quickly, people who say that the Holocaust is a hoax, I don't understand how their brain works. Fucking, you usually say pics or it didn't happen. Well, we have pictures. We have video. It happened. I don't get it. The Holocaust happened. Stop denying it. Anyway, back to movies.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And a personal...
Oh, yeah.
A personal...
Yeah, like a personal movie that you really love that you think people could appreciate.
Yeah. This is basically, in my book, if you haven't seen this movie, you don't like movies. If you don't collect movies, you're not allowed to call yourself a film buff. In my book.
Can I guess?
Yes?
I think you're gonna say Evil Dead.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
Because that is, it's... Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it's very elitist. I'm well aware. And it's only my opinion.
Yeah. That's okay. And yeah, I agree with that. That is one of those movies that not only is it very entertaining to watch, it is even almost more interesting to watch, like the behind the scenes stuff and read about how they made the movie, because it is amazing how they managed to make that movie with what little means they had.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an important movie to watch for that, and also that it's a really good like splatter horror movie.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest movies to watch with audio commentary as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the Bruce Campbell one is hilarious, and the Sam Raimi Robert Tappert one is also hilarious.
Yeah. And a funny thing when you listen, they've recorded so many different though over the years, but one version I have on a Blu-ray box, you really get the feeling that Sam Raimi, like, he likes the movie, but he definitely sees it more like he saw it more of like a job. It wasn't a passion project for him, which is kind of strange. But he talks a lot about like the logistics behind it all and all that. And I think you can see that in some of his movies, that he considers, even if he likes making movies, it's definitely a job for him more than like a passion. But I don't know, it's just a tangent. But yeah, because I don't know if you heard this before, but I mentioned Bad Taste as a movie that people should watch, and that's for the same reasons.
Definitely.
Yeah. Problem is then, do you think a general audience would appreciate it because of it's the poor quality and the weird premise and all the blood, of course?
The thing is, I don't think it's that weird of a premise. If
they want to use
it to movies today.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like a movie like the Seth Rogen End of the World Apocalypse movie what's it called? End of the World? No.
Yeah.
World's
I know.
World's
End of the
End.
World, or This is the End, or something.
This is the end. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the end. Yeah. I guess.
That movie's the premise for that movie is, in my opinion, as out there as Bad Taste.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, probably.
But Bad Taste is funnier.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's more admirable because of the problems they had behind the camera. I mean, it took like 4 years to film that movie. It's insane. Just to have the fortitude to continue like every weekend for 4 years shooting that movie. That's insane.
Yeah.
But back to Forrest Gump. I was talking about Christopher mentioning that why he doesn't like that movie is because he doesn't like the characters. And I can sort of understand that because, like I said, there are a couple of assholes in the movie, like Jenny and Lieutenant Dan. But I also think that the characters aren't. It's not like a movie that focuses on the characters. I think that, especially Forrest Gump, he's just. I don't want to say a MacGuffin, but he's like this central thing that Robert Zemeckis uses to tell the story of America throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, definitely.
That it's more a movie about America than it is about Forrest Gump, and that Forrest Gump embodies the everyman of America, and that it's a tale about America more than it is about him. He's just something, exactly, about America, and that it's just something that we can grasp onto because we need something tactile to like. Oh, it's about Forrest Gump, but it's actually about America. So and that's why I think the characters can be a bit lackluster here and there, and that's why most characters are only in it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it exciting.
I can't grasp the concept of anyone not liking Forrest Gump, so
yeah, I know.
I
know it's kind
of alien to me.
It's so heartwarming.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wow.
Oh, like that. Yeah. Well, no, the camera or the video was stuck on Daniel because I had clicked on his little avatar down here, so the camera wasn't switching when we were talking. It was weird.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's like about Forrest Gump. So it's partly that. It's a very interesting way of telling a story, that using a character as almost like a MacGuffin or a storytelling device almost. But also just Robert Zemeckis in general. He seems to switch up his way of telling stories in movies. I mean, if you compare Forrest Gump with I don't know, what's it called? The Walk, the one about the high wire guy that walks between the World Trade Center.
Oh yeah.
It's both of them takes place over a long period of time, but they tell the story in very different ways. And it's the same thing with Back to the Future is more of a straightforward way of telling a story, but with a time travel twist. And then you have what's it called, Beneath the Surface or something, the one with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer, that like horror movie.
Oh yeah.
What's Hidden Beneath or something. That's like a straightforward, almost like relationship drama, told within the confines of a ghost story, and with a lot of like almost unnecessary like technical stuff, like special effects and things. It's not like a great movie, but it's a very interesting way of telling that kind of a story.
Yeah.
So that's also partly why I like Forrest Gump, is because I like Robert Zemeckis and how he makes movies.
Forrest Gump by Frank Ocean more than the movie, but I'm an asshole. So.
What?
What?
Yeah,
Forrest
there's
Gump.
a song about Forrest Gump that Frank Ocean made.
Oh, okay.
I like that more than the movie.
I haven't heard that one. But I don't know. if there's any movies that I would like, well, there's a lot of movies, but some one that I would really like. Oh, this one you have to see. You have to see this one.
Midnight Cowboy by by John Schlesinger.
Well, yeah, that's I actually haven't seen it, but
it showed that Hollywood took huge risk to make a movie about a guy that goes to become a male prostitute in New York.
Yeah,
that is a ballsy movie to make.
That was in the 70s, right?
69.
Yeah, but this is right after Easy Rider,
that
right?
is a must-see movie. I think it's one of the greatest American movies.
But Donnie, this is right after Easy Rider was released, right?
At the same, they were released at the same time.
So Hollywood was, like.
It was a very different time in Hollywood at
back
then.
Yeah. But this was, they were taking huge risks because the movie companies, they didn't do it. They had this huge competition from television. They were losing audience.
Yeah. I was talking about that.
Came in to go over the movie business.
Yeah. How movies
there's by United Artists, and United Artists has always been a studio that took huge risks. They always made movies that pushed the envelope.
Yeah, I think that is
the only X-rated movie that ever won an Oscar, by the way.
Oh,
it's X-rated? Jesus Christ. Well, I guess it would be. It's about a gay prostitute in the 60s. But yeah, there was definitely a period in Hollywood in the late 60s and almost all through the 70s where like there were all these really good movies made. And like the most prominent filmmaker I would say is Coppola back then. It was definitely another vibe going on in Hollywood back then, because you had movies like Star Wars, you had The Godfather, you had Jaws, you had Midnight
Taxi Driver,
Taxi Driver, Serpico, fucking Dog Day Afternoon, Straw Dogs. It's so many good movies.
Alien,
Conversation, Alien, God damn it. And it was like classic after classic after classic. Blowout, Carrie, if we're talking about Brian Palma. So many good movies, because it was like this filmmakers.
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange.
Exactly, Clockwork Orange, 2001. If we want to talk late 60s, a lot of like movies that would never have been made now.
Yeah,
I guess. Partially because there's a different political climate right now, and partially because money wasn't as big of a problem. No, exactly. That's I would use that saying. They don't make them like they used to, because they were willing to spend money on something that might not even like resonate with people, but somehow they did. I mean, a movie like Deer Hunter. If Deer Hunter was made today, first of all, I don't think it would look the same way, but I don't think people would enjoy it in the same way as they did back then. It's just, movies are not made the same way today as they were back then, and it's
but as Danny said,
I think the independent movement in movies, I think the smaller studios make better movies. I'm actually
definitely
at a movie that was distributed by a big studio, but it was made by a smaller studio. Oh, if you haven't seen it, you should look it up. It's on Netflix.
What movie?
Dope.
Dope. I love this movie. It is hilarious. Good. I liked it a lot.
Have you seen it before, or are you watching it for the first time now?
I've probably seen it for the 7th, 8th. It's my favorite on board movie.
Okay, because I think a problem with that movie, I really like it, but one problem I have with that movie is that it's very anticlimactic. I don't really feel that it has a definite ending.
I haven't seen it.
Don't spoil it for him. He's gonna like it.
We're not gonna discuss the actual ending, but I just feel that it's a bit anticlimactic. But yeah, the whole movie up until the ending is a very, very good movie. A lot of good music in it.
I was thinking, Donnie, you said that the movie industry in the 70s, they had this pressure because of TV.
More in the 60s.
Yeah, more, okay. But there's a parallel thing.
They gave more independence to anyone. For example, Warner Brothers Studios is a perfect example. How free it was to make movies. Like, you have John Calley, who was the chairman of Warner Brothers. Could anyone make movies? Because he was a movie buff himself, and he wanted to see great movies. So he didn't want so much studio interference.
No. I
think that's Robert Evans.
Robert Evans had Paramount.
Like,
you had Robert Evans and Paramount. You had
Paul Ladd,
John Calley at Warner's, and then you had Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider taking care of production company that made 5 Easy Pieces and Easy Rider, and their movies were distributed by Sony.
Yeah, but it was 5 of the movies
the large studios.
Yeah.
They all huge studios have now independent companies. For example, somebody bought up Lionsgate for like a huge amount of money. For example,
New Line
owns
Lionsgate
banner, which make all these independent movies.
Yeah.
Or
you have Sony
Fox,
Classics,
Oscar movies.
Yeah, Fox Searchlight. You have Sony Classics. It's like more independent movies. Paramount Vintage. Yeah, and Fox also has Fox 2000. I don't think they make too many movies under that name anymore, but they used to make like lower budget movies under Fox 2000.
Yeah, but I was thinking 5 of the movies we mentioned in the 70s were produced by Robert Evans. Let's just let that sink in. A tip to everyone listening or watching this: The Kid Stays in the Picture is a documentary about Robert Evans, and it's one of the greatest movies ever. Thank you, Donnie.
Oh yeah, we sat together at the cinema.
It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. But I was gonna say, there's a parallel right now to the movie, to the cinema industry versus television, and that's Netflix. That's today. The movies, the studios versus streaming stuff like Netflix or Hulu. But
or just TV in general, like the best stuff right now. Even if I don't watch all
the new golden age of television again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
with Game of Thrones, like shows like Game of Thrones, or a few years ago, True Detective.
The Wire was a show.
Yeah, The Wire. Yeah, TV is definitely like almost beating movies. Even if I personally prefer movies, I can agree that TV is winning over movies.
Yeah, the interesting and original stuff is coming from TV, not movies. And that kind of sucks in a way.
Yeah,
because a TV show has the pro that it can tell a story in a slower tempo.
Yeah, it's more of a long form storytelling.
Yeah, exactly, and so they can take their time with the storylines and whatever. And that's the biggest problem I have with movies today. That it feels like they're all rushed, story-wise.
Most AAA titles or blockbusters, have that problem. There are a few that don't, but mostly.
Yeah.
But I would say a problem with television, but that's just me, I suppose. Because there's this psychological aspect to it, but whatever. There's this thing that when you produce a television series, you might have you have a general idea what's going to happen and you know how it's going to start, but you might not know how it ends. But people just go ahead and do it anyway. And then they do the beginning, they do the middle, and then they prolong the middle because there is an economic incentive to just make more episodes, make more seasons. Well, how is it going to end? When are we going to end it? How are we going to conclude the whole thing? Oh, it doesn't matter. 7 seasons, and at least 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And I feel that could like dilute the product, if you will, the story.
Yeah, I agree. I like
mean,
TV shows that actually have an ending.
Yeah, they have an ending in mind when they start it.
Yeah, like I remember reading when I was in high school about Lost.
Yeah.
That J.J. Abrams said it definitely has an ending. It's not going to be like Gilligan's Island.
No.
And it's just going to be like 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know how many seasons there is.
They did 6.
Yeah.
But the last I think
Lost
5 and 6 are kind of short because
that
was the first problem we have to talk about there is Damon Lindelof. Yeah, he's good at like writing mysteries.
No, he's not.
No, wait.
That's the problem. He's not good at writing mysteries.
Yeah, well, he's good at he's good at like starting a mystery, but he's not good at concluding. He's not good at finishing up. He can write an like interesting like question, but he never has the answer to it.
The thing is, you know what he does? Everything that he's connected with starts off. It might as well be. It was a dark and stormy night.
Yeah,
that's all of his movies and TV shows. Fuck yeah. Damon Lindelof.
But the second problem with Lost was that
too many loose ends that never got resolved.
Yeah. That's Damon Lindelof.
Well, he wasn't the only writer. I mean, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying the soul.
It kind of feels like you are.
No. What I was getting at is that show, like J.J. Abrams said, he wanted to make 3 or 4 seasons, and you can definitely tell that was what they were aiming for in the beginning, because the quality of the show is like maintained throughout at least season 1, 2, 3 is kind of but the 4th one is still pretty good. However, the show was super popular, so I don't remember the production. I don't remember which channel it went. ABC wanted to make more money. They said, we need more seasons of Lost. J.J. Abrams said, well, we don't have any more. Well, let's make it up. So he actually I know he agreed to a 5th season where they were gonna wrap everything up. And they said, no, we want 7 seasons, because that's, the contractual thing is 7 seasons, and then you renegotiate. And the compromise was that they they drag out the 5th season, the one that he didn't even want to make. They drag out the 5th season over 2 seasons because they wanted more episode. They wanted to show the show more. They wanted it to continue.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, because they wanted to make money, even though the show was over, the story was over, but they dragged it out for economic reasons.
Yeah,
and that's a problem with television shows, and it's a problem with like the Marvel movies, because it's almost like a very, very expensive TV show at this point. It's the same thing; they're just dragging it out.
Yeah,
and that's the problem I have with long form storytelling, at least when it comes to like TV and movies.
Yeah,
books is one thing, but
yeah.
What were we talking about?
Movies.
Movies.
We kind of went off on a tangent.
David Lindelof.
And
he makes my fucking blood boil. No joke.
I agree.
He destroyed Prometheus. It's his fault and his fault only.
Yeah. Well,
and he should be.
And let's be honest, Ridley Scott.
Aged.
Yeah.
No.
But me and my younger brother, I hope he's listening. We were talking about Ridley Scott, and we both came to the conclusion he's probably the most overrated director.
Yeah, one of them at least.
My younger brother actually agrees with you, Tobias. Yeah. He doesn't think Blade Runner is that great.
No, I will defend that statement till my dying breath.
Yeah, you do.
Blade Runner is a bad movie.
I love Blade Runner.
I'm looking forward to the sequel, even though I'm probably getting disappointed.
I
you know what?
don't feel anything. I suppressed all my feelings for that sequel.
I'm gonna go to the premiere and I'm gonna live tweet it, just to ruin it. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. That's disrespectful. But
when is the premiere? When
September, October, something. I don't
wow,
know.
that's soon.
Yeah. Well, they've been talking about it for years, not years, but like a year at least.
Cool. I really
think
want to go
it's-
see it. Couldn't we go and see it? All free?
Yeah.
I'm totally in.
I mean,
If we could lure
Christopher should follow. And we should
Does he-
have like a pre-party at my house, watch Blade Runner.
Yeah.
oh my god.
And you can all come and pet my cat.
Yeah, I just saw that you...
Yeah, Morris is awesome. Even
Yeah,
though he
man.
likes to climb on my bookshelves, but he's learning. He's learning.
The typical cat.
It's October the 6th, the 6th of October here in Sweden.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely down to see it.
Oh, looking so forward.
Yeah, I was just one other good good example of what when a TV show just keeps on going even though it's kind of done. The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's another show. It could have ended years ago because they're just rehashing the same storyline over and over.
They
economic
come
reasons.
to a new place and there's some psychopath running shit. And he's the bad guy of the season.
Yeah. And for some reason, people just love it. I don't know. But anyway.
It was kind of the same thing with Sons of Anarchy. There was always an overarching... there was the overarching plot about finding out the truth about the death of his father. But that kind of took backseat to the Russian mob or the Irish mob or infighting or the DEA being after them.
Yeah. And then for like half a season, they went to Ireland for some reason.
Yeah, because
So weird.
the thing is with that show, it was so poorly written, but it was poorly written in a way that you wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
It was still entertaining.
I remember
brain dead. There was
I remember
you didn't have to think when you watched that show.
I lost interest. Like when they came back from Ireland, it was like, wow, can this be over now? I mean, it just felt like there should be a definite ending that never happened.
Yeah, it's kind of soap opera-y.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of drama.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They went to Ireland because the what's the Irish terrorist?
IRA.
Yeah, IRA. Kidnapped his infant son.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so weird. They kidnapped his son. That's like Days of Our Life stuff.
Yeah.
This is about a motorcycle gang. What the fuck? They should be like dealing drugs and like running guns. Just what are you watching?
What?
What?
Well, I heard some music. Is that dope?
Yeah. I just put it on repeat again.
Okay. But yeah, let's get back to movies. We were talking about something.
We haven't really defined so many movies as we should. But
no, but I think that
we can talk forever about American movies, but tell me 3 Swedish movies that definitely are must-see movies. I can go first if you want.
Great question.
Yeah. Do that because Swedish movies is hard. But
okay.
Go first.
Easy. Fucking Åmål by Lukas Moodysson.
Okay.
Of course.
Seventh Seal by Egbert Bergman.
Yeah.
And the third one, because it really defined horror movies. Kölkarlen by Vilgot Sjöström.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so flipping good. You gotta see it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Bubblare, a film that I would put in parentheses, Häxan.
Yeah.
It's so good. I loved it.
Yeah, I cherish my Criterion Collection of that one. I love that movie.
Mm. I was thinking about Swedish movies.
Yeah, I have 2 out of 3. So
I don't know how many I have. I guess I've mentioned. Well, I mentioned.
Yeah, I have my 3.
Okay, we'll go first then, because I'm not really sure yet.
Okay, I'm gonna say Tillsammans by Lukas Moodysson. I think it's better than Fucking Åmål. Fucking Åmål is a wonderful movie. It's one of the greatest Swedish movies ever made, in my opinion. But I think Tillsammans is a better movie. So yeah, for all you English speaking listeners out there, Tillsammans is a film about hippie collective in the 70s in Sweden, and the people who lives a commune, maybe.
Yeah. I could call it collective or commune, I think.
Yeah. It's such a great movie. I love that movie.
But that movie has, I mean, it's like an international movie. People know about it. It doesn't have an English title.
Yeah, Together.
It's Together. Yeah, okay.
I think it's called Together.
You can buy it on Region 1 DVD.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was your first one, right?
Yeah. My second one, Fuck. Well, it was, yeah. And this one is kind of, I'm going to say Vägen ut, The Way Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, for the reason why I chose it, because it's such a American style of a movie, which is kind of rare in Sweden. We don't make films like they do in America.
No, Swedish movies are very Swedish.
Yeah, and Vägen ut, in my opinion, is it's an American movie in the way it's told, and the structure of the script. Yeah, and the premise. And the premise is about an actor who quits his job at the
Royal Theater.
Yeah, at the Royal Theater, and becomes like a theater director at a prison, the worst prison in Sweden, Kumla, and sets up a play with the inmates. And I really like that movie. It's kind of what I usually call a Big Mac movie, because you know exactly what you're getting, and it tastes good, and it's like, but it's forgettable in a way.
Yeah, it has a broad appeal. Everyone will enjoy it.
Yeah, you can. I could watch that movie like 4 times a day.
Yeah,
if it was on like 4 times a day, I would watch it.
But it's at the same time, it is a very well-made movie, and it
it's
has some great performances in it.
Yeah.
What's his name? It's a Swedish actor. Well, duh. Ragnar something.
Yeah.
He's the guy that makes the shiv out of a spoon.
Yeah.
What's his name? He's a little pudgy. What's his name?
Breaking Out is the English title for that movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I know.
It's Ragnarsson.
Göran Ragnarsson.
Så är det, ja. Just det, Göran Ragnarsson. He is probably my favorite in that movie, and he's one of my favorite Swedish actors.
I like Shanti Rooney.
He's great as well.
And also, let's not forget Oliver Loftén, known from the Swedish TV series Bat.
Yeah.
Before he did. Speaking of American and movies and actors, he fell on some hard times.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
There's a whole flashback thread about him. It's pretty funny.
But what's your third choice?
Yeah, my third choice is a short movie called Disco Kung Fu.
Nummer 1 med en discospark.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty good one. Oh my! That was a long time since I saw that. It's so good.
Ring Rorschach.
Han är en hård jävel.
Sorry, getting a bit.
It's a very quotable movie.
Yeah,
it's a very quotable
and it's a short film about this guy who gets bullied by the local kung fu gang in a Swedish segregated suburb.
Yeah, that's kind of there aren't really a lot of kung fu gangs in Sweden, but I guess it's a metaphor for just a gang. But
yeah, and the guy who gets bullied gets help from an old disco kung fu champion, played wonderfully by Kjell Bergqvist.
Yeah.
And speaking of movies that are out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely. I mean, I know that this movie, what's it called, Kung Fury, got a lot of praise around the world. But if we're going to talk about crazy Swedish short films that needs to be seen by more people, I would say Disco Kung Fu is better.
Yeah.
That one is really good. And you could probably find that with subtitles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Disco Kung Fu. It's like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah. And you don't want it to end.
No. Yeah, it's a perfect length.
Yeah.
It doesn't always say it's welcome, but you feel fulfilled. But you could watch it. You could watch more of it, but you just could watch it again because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if I would find like a Kickstarter project for the long, the full length picture, like they're making a full length version, I would back it without hesitation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my three.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about. I mean, I have. Well, my first one I already mentioned before. It's a Bergman movie called Wild Strawberries, or Smultron från stället på svenska. Sara, känner du igen mig, Sara? I really love that, and I mean, it's a Bergman movie, so
yeah.
And then
you kind of have to like Bergman if you're into movies.
Yeah, at least a couple of them. There's that's required viewing.
Yeah.
And then I have a personal favorite, which I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think it's a movie called Pistvakt.
Oh,
I don't know what you would call it in English. I don't know what a Pistvakt is in English. It's like when you're skiing in the mountains, there are like people there to assist you if something goes wrong, and they're maintaining the lift and all that. Those are called pistvakter in Swedish. And that movie, it's based on a TV show that went for 2 seasons in Sweden. That is
wonderful.
Based on that's based on like a play or a show, a live show. And I mean, on its surface, it's just kind of a silly comedy. But if you just dig a little deeper, it's actually a very depressing movie about what do you call it? Like loneliness, death, getting old, all of these things. And I guess that's kind of typical for Sweden to make it's a comedy, but really it's a super depressing movie. Like Fyra nyanser av brunt, 4 Shades of Brown.
Yeah.
So
I should have mentioned that one.
Yeah,
that's a great movie as well.
It's technically a comedy, but you laugh maybe once in 3 hours.
Yeah. I wouldn't. You laugh at several times, but you kind of the laughter stops.
Exactly. It's not because the movie is funny. It's because you don't really know how to react. So you're like,
it's a nervous laughter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest Swedish movies ever made.
Yeah.
4 Shades of Brown.
I could probably pick that. But back to Pistvakt, or like I don't know, ski slope guard.
No.
I don't know what
let's just go with pistvakt.
Let's just go with pistvakt. And one thing to notice there is like it's an early work by Hoyte van Hoytema, the cinematographer.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's like Hollywood royalty with movies like Tinker Tailor and Interstellar and Dunkirk.
Wonderful cinematography.
Yeah, but back then he'd made some TV stuff, and he made some stuff in his native country, the Netherlands, I think it is. But for some reason, they like hired him to do this weird comedy in Sweden. And it just he makes it look so beautiful, and it really complements the story of the movie.
Yeah, and if you can't find the pistvakt movie, just watch the Swedish version of Låt den rätte komma in, Let the Right One In.
That's also Hoyte van Hoytema.
Yeah, because that's exactly how pistvakt looks as well.
Yeah,
it's dark and it's snow, and it's in blue tones.
Exactly.
Shades of blue.
Shades of blue. Yeah, and my third pick, I'm not sure. I mean, we mentioned 4 Shades of Brown. I would probably say that. I mean, there's a couple of like personal favorites, like The Visitors. There's a Swedish horror movie called The Visitors. People kind of shit on that one, but I love that one.
Another personal favorite of mine is Sune Sommar.
Oh yeah. That's a childhood favorite for all of us, I think.
But the thing is, I still laugh. I'm crying with laughter when I watch that movie, and it's so funny and it's so quotable, and it's so relatable. Like family, it's about a family vacation, basically gone wrong.
It's definitely a movie that people can relate to, especially like families in Sweden.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking up.
Yeah, and it's a bit surreal.
It's a bit. You could almost say like it's almost hyper real. That it's slightly above reality.
Yeah, magical realism.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of like, would you say it's sort of like the same style as Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Because we were talking about that before. How that movie doesn't really feel like it takes place in the real world. It takes place in this sort of real world, but not really.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess Sune Sommar is kind of the summer of Sune.
Yeah, I think another movie that. 2 Swedish movies, because they were made at the same period, but the whole scenography of the movie, of these 2 movies I'm going to mention, they make the movies look so unreal. Like they cannot be they're in a fictional world. One of them is Back in The Last Virgin.
Yeah.
It looks so strange. And Sökarna.
Yeah, definitely. And
they look so strange. They're like these colors that don't really run.
Yeah, exactly. The movie feels like it should be, because it talks about some very real issues, but it definitely feels like more of an art movie with all the colors and
funny that
weird intermissions. And
funny that you should mention Batten Sista Oskulden. It's directed by Thomas Alfredsson.
That made Let the Right One In.
Stuff.
Yeah, he made Let the Right One In. So and Tinker Tailor
sold it back.
Yeah, and the upcoming movie The Snowman.
Oh yeah, that's I was gonna dismiss that as just like another like procedural detective movie, but maybe that's gonna be good then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is he making?
The Snowman.
It's one of those. It's a Swedish book from the beginning.
Norwegian, I think.
Oh, Norwegian, yeah. There's this. I know my mom.
Isn't it John Nesbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's from his Harry Hole series. The detective in the movie is called Harry Hole. I know my mom read a few of those books, and that name stuck in my head. Oh, it's about this police detective called Harry Hole. What? Sounds like a porn name. My name's Harry Hole. Let me fill yours.
Fun side note. I have this. I'm in a band, and we have like this group chat going on Facebook, and we, from time to time, we change the name of the conversation and the names of the participants in the chat. And our lead singer found like, what's your vagina name? And proceeded to change all our names to what our vagina names are. And his name was Harry Cave. My name was Sparkly Tunnel, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
Speaking of Harry Hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting. Harry Hole.
Our bassist name was Moist Destroyer.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
But yeah, back to movies.
Sorry.
enough vagina nicknames. Yeah. Oh, we gotta kind of came in on a Swedish tangent. Are there any more like Swedish movies?
We could list the Swedish movies that we would not recommend.
Oh. Okay.
Not
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, not Besatt. But no, I would actually
say that it's so bad that it's
I would
good,
recommend. Yeah, I would recommend it. Like you recommend The Room.
Yeah, it's in the same league as The Room. It's a fucking ridiculous movie. Plus, it's out of sync. The entire movie's out of sync. Every copy of that movie is out of sync because they edited it wrong. It's a miss.
There was a mistake in the editing.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's out of sync. The audio video.
It's very hard to get on DVD. Supposedly,
it's expensive.
Yeah,
look how much it cost at Tradera.
Yeah, I bought a VHS copy like 2 years ago for like 1 krona.
That is good. Hold it.
Yeah.
And other Swedish movies. I don't know. There's a lot of Sweden makes a lot of really terrible like young adult movies or like teen movies. I mean, you have Shedil.
Shedil, yes, but I would recommend them in the Room vibe as well.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of Swedish movies that are just bad. There aren't a lot of those. There are a lot of like
lackluster,
bad, hilarious movies. Yeah, like Shedil. You can still watch that if you can speak Swedish or understand Swedish, and like have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't recommend any Wallander or Beck movie.
No, I consider those.
They're
TV
so
shows
generic and boring.
Yeah, they are generic and boring.
Stockholm Noir movie, the Beck movie.
It's all the same. But they are gaining an audience. I mean, we talked about this before. They are gaining an audience outside of Sweden, which is weird.
Yeah, the Wallander movies, at least.
Yeah, I mean, even Kenneth Branagh stars in the remakes, which is so weird. Yeah. I valued him more than. Yeah, exactly. I valued him higher than that. But anyway, another good movie that I didn't mention, that I should mention, is what's it called in English? It's a Modison movie. Vi är bäst, eller vad fan heter den?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's called We Are the Best.
I stopped watching his movies after A Hole in My Heart, which is also a movie I would kind of recommend.
Because it's so weird.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I like that movie. I haven't seen it in years, though. So I maybe have to watch that one again. But I remember watching that in the theater.
Really?
And people walked out of the movie.
Yeah, but it's kind of a hard movie to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah, it's understandable. But yeah, I think it's called We Are the Best. The movie that takes place like the early 80s about a couple of kids that start a punk band. It's really a lot of fun, actually. And it's definitely more approachable than some of his other movies, like A Hole in My Heart or Container. Yeah, Container. But it's still very, very well made, and great performances by children, which we seldom see.
Yeah, that's a rare thing in Sweden. Good child actors, but we've had like a renaissance of that, like in Let the Right One In.
Yeah,
the child actors in that one they are amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty good. But
that tone though, yeah, they're pretty good. I could probably make a better.
Yeah, I could act better than them, but I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm older as well, so I could like do better.
But what I mean is, I'm not a super big fan of that movie. So, but I definitely appreciate the actors for the
Heresy.
Piece of shit.
Best answer ever.
No, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what's his name, the author.
Ivy Lindqvist.
Yeah, John Ajvide Lindqvist. I think he's like the Swedish Stephen King, but not as good.
Have you read his novel collections?
No, I've read a few
story collections.
I've read a few of the short stories, but not the entire thing.
Yeah, read the whole thing. But he's gotten worse.
People like praise him.
Yeah, the latest one I read was Himmelstrand, and that was one of the. I literally felt like I wasted my time reading that.
Yeah, it feels like it's one of those where he makes a good first book. I mean, his first his breakout book was Let the Right One In, and everyone praises, and I can see why. It is well written. It's just not to my taste. And then the pressure was on for him to write another instant classic, and I think he tried too hard. Because he made the book, like you said, Himmelstrand. He made Människohamn. What is it called? The Återkommande, eller the Returners or something. That's a zombie book.
Hanteringen av odöda.
That's what it's called.
Which is a great title. How would you?
What would you call that? I don't know. How to handle your undead.
Yeah.
That sounds more like a comedy.
Yeah.
That's not a comedy. But yeah, I feel that he's kind of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. I see what you mean. I don't fully agree, but
no. But he doesn't make movies though. I mean, yes, I think Swedish movies.
He wrote the script to Let the Right One In, though.
Well, yeah. The Swedish one, yeah.
Yeah, the Swedish one. He oversaw... He was, connected in one way or another to the English or the American remake as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know in what capacity.
No, I haven't seen that one. I've only seen the Swedish version.
It's okay, but it really is the American version. It's more. They cut out some of the what they would consider the boring parts, which is the good parts.
Okay.
Like the character building stuff.
Oh.
So, and it's very it's more straightforward than the Swedish version.
Yeah, no, I know that was a big thing also, that they changed the title because they thought the title wouldn't be it was too convoluted for American audiences to call it the Let the Right One In. So they just called it Let Me In. I remember that was a big conversation back when that movie came out. And it was like, what?
Who cares?
Yeah, first of all, who cares? And second of all, Let the Right One In. How hard is that to grasp? I don't know.
Fucking Americans.
Fucking Americans.
Damn Americans.
Damn Americans.
Other Swedish movies, though, I mean, there's a lot of good Swedish movies that we haven't mentioned, but off the top of my head, I don't know. There's the Sällskapsresan-filmerna, the Sällskapsresan movies, but there's really I like the first, the second, and the third. But I mean, if
Force Majeure by Ruben Östlund is really good.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah, exactly. If we're gonna talk
his
about
latest movie,
movies.
At Way Out West.
Oh, you saw it?
I'm gonna say something.
Was it good?
It was good, but it's not a flipping masterpiece.
Yeah, because it's pretty hyped, isn't it?
Yeah, it's overhyped.
He won Palme d'Or, right?
His best movie, I think it's still The Ofrivilliga, his second movie. Because that one is really hard to see, because then he really puts people in awkward situations.
Yeah. I didn't.
Force Majeure is a really good movie. That should have been an Oscar nomination for Sweden.
But The Square, his latest, it won the Palme d'Or, right? Or was it won some?
Yeah, but so did there's it doesn't deserve the Palme d'Or.
Yeah,
it was good, but it wasn't Palme d'Or material.
Yeah. I just remembered some a Swedish filmmaker that we should mention. I don't know if we should recommend his movies, but he's definitely worth mentioning, and it's Henrik Möller.
What does he make?
Is that the guy that? No, he's not the one that makes shitty movies about young adults.
No. That's
Henrik Möller. He makes like animation without animation.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh
Yeah, you have a collection of his stuff.
I have a short film collection from him called The Death. What is it called? Death Goes on Sightseeing in Malmö.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes some really weird, uncomfortable short films, and usually he draws the pictures just with like crayons or what's it called, felt pens, tuschpenna.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's these crude, like childlike pictures of people
violence,
like doing drugs and violence, drugs, like really surrealist stuff. He has a movie. It's probably the weirdest one. The one where this new mysterious like porn website pops up in Sweden.
Yeah, that one.
Where you start watching it, and you're almost like hypnotized by it. So people just keep watching it. They keep masturbating, and slowly but surely, they turn into like gel, like goo, mush, and they just melt onto the floor because of this. They're hypnotized by this porn. And then, like, wealthy politicians in Sweden use this human lotion as body lotion. It's so weird.
He narrates his movies as well in a very thick southern Swedish dialect.
Skåne accent.
Yeah, Skåne accent. And I'm not sure if we should recommend his movies, but he's definitely he's definitely worth mentioning.
Yes,
because he makes interesting movies, and that's not very common in Sweden.
Let's say like this: if you're watching this and you consider yourself a pretentious film fan, if you like art house movies, you should definitely check out Henrik Möller.
Yeah. Because
he makes some fucked up short films.
Yeah.
But I really love it.
Yeah, some of them are hard to watch. Because you kind of laugh because they're so crude, but there's an underlying, like, dread.
Yeah. It's almost like
they're very...
like David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
David Lynch movies... Yeah, David Lynch movies usually have this like it's like even in the sound you can always hear like this like low roaring sound, and you have this feeling in the back of your head when you're watching a David Lynch movie, like this is not like, it's not supposed to be like this. Something is off. You have the same feeling when you watch a Henrik Möller movie.
Yeah, Sweden's David Lynch.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't even think about that. He actually interviewed David Lynch when he had he was doing like an art gallery vernissage. I don't know what you call it in English, where he showed off some of his paintings here in Sweden. And Henrik Møller actually managed to interview him for another short film collection, which is called the what's it called? Kaninen. I don't remember. It's something about a bunny and a vagina. I don't remember something. Anyway, yeah. He's like short movie collections has very weird names.
Yeah,
but yeah, Henrik Møller, check that out. So yeah, we've been going on for a while now. I would say we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Any like last editions? Now we're talking about Swedish movies. Is there anything like that people should watch? I don't know. We mentioned them. Like,
I think we mentioned all the good Swedish movies ever made.
Yeah. Well, not ever made.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But it's so difficult to choose.
Yeah.
But a movie that I would highly recommend to people, well, it's the French movie La Haine.
Oh.
It's called The Hate. I think it's still the best movie made about young people because it feels brutally honest.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's make believe. It feels so gritty and so real.
Yeah. I've only seen parts of it.
It's one of the best. It's the best French movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And people say to me, "What? It's not Truffaut." But I'm like, well, Truffaut don't know life in the ghetto, so
Yeah. And actually, a late edition, we watched a movie from my collection that I bought just because of the title. Black Magic Rights. I've been trying to I've been trying to get Tobias to watch that with me for a while, but you only scoff when I mention it. So I watched it with a couple of guys from my band, and it's one of the most surreal and weird horror sleaze movies I've ever seen. It's from the 70s, and the director is I can't remember his name right now, but it's a psychedelic sleaze horror movie about Satan, Dracula, and witches. Basically, it kind of feels like if Jodorowsky made a sleaze horror movie.
Oh, okay.
It was
The way you explained it to me, it felt sort of like in the same vein of Witchfinder General, and what's that? We watched the Fulci movie that was like Lovecraftian.
The Beyond.
Yeah, The Beyond. It felt like sort of like The Beyond, or like the Witchfinder General. That kind of like
Vibe.
Occult movie. Yeah.
It was.
Is it kind of that?
No, it's. I really think you should see it. I think
Okay.
you would like it, actually.
Well, we'll have to watch it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to add now. One thing. That we really only like brushed upon it a while back. You mentioned, Donnie, that the movies we talk about are usually from a Western perspective.
yeah.
And I think we only mentioned like one or two like Eastern movies.
Asian movie, and they were both Kurosawa, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Would you be interested in doing like a follow-up to this? I don't know, maybe not next week, but in a couple of weeks or something, about
Absolutely.
about good like movies we want to recommend that are not from Hollywood, from the Western world.
Of course, there's a great Latin American movie. One of my favorite directors is Pablo Larraín, Chilean director, who has a certain style to his movies. He's made 5 movies. The last movie he made was Jackie, the movie about Jacqueline Kennedy.
Oh.
That looks more like a studio job than anything else.
Okay.
No, he's made 6 movies. He made a movie about the Chilean poet, Pablo Neruda. But he has made a movie, you should look this up, or you can borrow my copy, called Tony Manero. Yes, the name of the John Travolta character. It's a movie that the plot takes place during the military dictatorship in Chile, and it's about a man that is around his 50s, and he's obsessed by John Travolta's character from Saturday Night Live, and he does this show once a week to show people his Tony Manero skills. And there's like a John Travolta look-alike show. It's a very bizarre movie because it has a grittiness that just makes you vomit, because there's a sex scene that is totally fucking unsexy. If you've seen the MIA video for Born Free, you know, when you see that glimpse of the fat man and the penis fucks his wife, that's how fucking gritty, disgusting it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
he made as well Chile's first Oscar contribution, No, the one about the Chilean campaign to get rid of Pinochet.
Yeah.
There's a masterpiece. That's one of my favorite movies for the last 10 years. Pablo Larraín is very good. He made as well a movie called El Club, which is about five priests. It was actually shown on Swedish cinemas last year. It's about the 5 priests in Chile. They've been excommunicated, but you can't really get rid of priests in Chile. So they live in a commune, and nobody knows that they're priests. And these priests have done the nastiest shit. They've fucked kids. They've kidnapped poor people's babies and given it to rich people that can't get babies. And it has the most difficult scene of animal cruelty I've seen in a movie. It basically tops Cannibal Holocaust turtle scene. But it's not as gritty.
I don't want to watch it.
I recommend The Club, and when you see it afterward, you're going to shower. You're going to shower away the shame that you see, but it's a masterpiece.
The Club.
El Club. You can borrow my copy of it. I have all the Chilean movies, you know.
No. But, okay.
Because I want to find African movies
Yeah.
that are not The Gods Must Be Crazy or Neil Blomkamp. Maybe I should watch Who Killed Captain Alex.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Captain Alex.
Who Killed Captain Alex?
There was actually, they did like, they were like focusing on African movies on the last film festival here in Stockholm. I only saw like 1 or 2, but you know, there are some good like North African and South African movies being made, and there's like it's a budding film industry, even if it's much lower budgeted, of course, than like Hollywood and stuff.
Saltsy, what the fuck? How could I forget Saltsy?
Yeah,
that was a really great movie. That was a great movie.
But
I was just gonna mention, you were speaking of Kurosawa.
Fuck me. How can I be so fucking stupid and forget it? It is basically an Italian or French movie, but it's as well a Nigerian movie. Battle of Algiers by Guillermo Pontecorvo is obviously the best movie made in Africa.
Okay, but
it could be counted as a Nigerian movie.
Yeah. But say if you have any more, save them for the next episode, because
of course.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about Kurosawa, because all of this was about you have to see a certain movie to call yourself a film buff. And here comes the confession: I haven't seen any Kurosawa movies.
Not even Seven Samurai?
No, I've seen the Western.
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, the Magnificent Seven. And I've seen A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life is so fucking good.
But and it kind of bugs me, if you will, that I haven't seen any, because I have seen a couple of scenes from Rashomon when I was in high school. But yeah, so if anyone wants to watch The Seven Samurais or anything like that with me, I would be.
I've seen it a long time ago, but I can watch it again.
Sick. Want to see it? What you're doing? What you're doing on Friday?
I'm going to the movies.
fine.
Are you gonna see The Square?
I was gonna go see The Square, but I think I'm doing it for Please Don't Make a Scene. So I think I'm gonna go see Logan Lucky. I think that has more appeal. I want to see The Square though, but I'm gonna watch Logan Lucky on Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yeah, because I gotta go. I gotta hit the hay and.
Yeah, me too. But
I'm off work. Oh yeah.
yeah, you just came home. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun, and it was it's good that we actually got to talk a little bit about Swedish movies because it felt like we were like dismissing it, and there are a few good Swedish movies. But
you should do like a special stream about Swedish movies.
Yeah.
Or
a
show. Our favorite movies from Sweden.
Yeah, or a show. You have a YouTube.
Exactly. I used to do like Swedish reviews, Tobbe tipsar, where I did Swedish reviews of Swedish movies. But I mean, there's so few good Swedish movies out in cinemas. That's why I kind of put that on the back burner.
Well, if it's still on it's not on the cinema anymore. You can actually rent it. Sameblod.
Yeah, I know. I really want to see that one. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch that one at work actually. With a couple of people at work.
But I might bring back Tobbe tipsar faktiskt.
Yes,
actually.
please.
Yes. So I'll talk about like maybe I'll talk about like classics, Swedish classics.
Yeah, and you could do like about bad Swedish movies too. It could be fun.
Yeah. But that's for another day.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. Thank you for participating. Thank you to Christopher, even though he left us. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, of course you're always welcome.
You're much nicer on the podcast than you are in real life to me.
Yeah. Well, I have this filter. There's a distance between us. Plus, you don't have a camera, so that helps. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry that I'm interrupting you all the time, but have you heard anything more about that movie trade we were gonna do?
Huh?
You had one of your...
the guy from work?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything else yet. I might talk to him tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't have a subject for next week's stream for next Tuesday, but of course you're welcome back. I'm gonna find something out. And Danielle, you and I, hopefully we're gonna get.
Yeah, we should do one. Because I think
another news stream.
There's some interesting news.
Yeah, I have one thing that I really want to talk about on a news episode. So we should definitely do that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's set that up for Sunday. I think Sundays are the best. You like doing like early, right?
Yeah, because I'm working at 4 p.m. So
yeah. So yeah, we should definitely do that. So yeah, for the future, Sunday morning here in Sweden. Me and Danielle are going to talk about movie news, and then next Tuesday we're going to do a show about, I don't know, but you better tune in.
Yeah.
But yeah, until then, thanks for being with us, and have a good one.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye.